Oh my gosh. It has been quite some time since I've been in Studio One to make a beat. I've been in here mixing and doing other things, but to make a beat, it's been quite some time. My name is Ellip, Beat Culture. This is what this is. We make beats live on air. And we are in Studio One. And basically, I've been getting a lot of questions about my process when using Maschine as a plugin in Studio One. I used to do that all the time, but it seems to be a popular question. It is definitely a popular question. Yes, indeed. So I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to give you guys what you've been asking for. So, yeah, we're in Studio One and we're going to make a beat live from scratch. So, if we go to my screen, we could see Studio One in the background. And just like any other instrument, you can actually bring Maschine in as a plugin. So I'm gonna bring Maschine in as a plugin and just drag it over into my work area. This is called the arrange window. And if you have everything properly set up, you should be able to do the same thing. In some cases, you may have to type it in. There's a search box here. Just type in Maschine and it should pop up. Spell Maschine the correct way. It's not the regular way to spell Maschine. I think that's probably some people's issue. They spell Maschine like an actual machine, like the proper way. But Maschine in this case is spelled with an S, Maschine. So just keep in mind that might be why it don't pop up in your situation, but it could be something else. Here's Maschine, and it works as a plugin. You have all of the functions. Maschine works like this is the full blown Maschine inside of Studio One. If you have any hardware version, MK3 is what I have. If you have anything older or newer, the process is the same in terms of how Maschine works, the workflow inside of it. I like to use Maschine as stereo, like I'll program inside of Maschine, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I mean as we make a beat. But I'll program in here. I do not route any pads to any of these channels outside of it. That's not my workflow. You could do that way, but you limit yourself when you do it that way because you only have up to, I believe it's 16. And when I'm working from this standpoint, I'm well beyond 16 sounds that's coming from the machine. So just want to make you guys aware that. What's up, Dev? Appreciate you, sir. Yes, indeed. Everyone hit that like. All right. If you're watching this and you're enjoying yourself, I appreciate you to hit the likes, to hit the like button, and just consider subscribing. I do appreciate it. Dev, post the link to the Discord channel right there in the comment section. So if you guys want to join us, the link is right there. It's a free community and it's about to get an upgrade pretty soon. I'm making some changes and I'll make the final announcement at a later time. But join now for all of the updates. It do seems that I alert my people there about different things that's happening, or we just have topics and discussions and whatnot that we may not have here on the YouTube channel or Facebook or any other places that I'm streaming live right now from. But yeah, join the Discord family. All right, so all right. So these two platforms are very powerful platforms. Studio One is very powerful. Studio One can do everything. Maschine is just dope for the sounds and what you can do in terms of workflow, and you could definitely make a beat. But it's not a full DAW, This is not something I would use to record, choir vocals or group vocals or, a full drum kit, something like that, or mixing a project that someone sent me. I'm not pulling that up in Maschine, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm going with that. Like, what do you mean? Maschine is powerful too. Yeah, it is for beat making and for probably I don't really want to go there, but there are some things that Maschine does lack in terms of editing and just other things that I would love to see them implement more so. Like for instance, pre-hear on each note. Like when I click a note, I would love to hear the note when I'm making changes or whatever. That's not yet in here yet. Stuff like that. Or smooth curves when we're doing automation. They have not yet implemented that in Maschine, but Maschine is a pretty powerful place. But what do I start off with? That's another question I get often. Drums or the melody? I'll start with chord progression. Chord progression, probably bass is next, and then drums might be next, and then the melody comes from that. The melody usually comes like a little later on after I get a vibe of where the song is going. That's usually how I create my tracks. But there are instances where I create using drums first. But anyway, we're going to throw in complete control. Complete control is another source that I love using. Complete control, Contact 7. I like using Contact 7 inside of Studio One. Studio One is probably the best place, in my opinion, that favors Contact 7 the best in terms of the power that Contact 7 holds. You know what I'm saying? Because Contact 7 can be routed and routed easily easier than Machine, I will tell you. But it's interesting though, because they both two different ways to route stuff. And this Machine is a little bit more complicated in terms of routing your pads. And Contact 7 is probably a little bit more easier. But when I'm doing like serious projects, like orchestral type stuff or whatever, like I definitely come inside the studio and want to do stuff like that because it's a little bit more easier. Anyway, let's get going. Enough talking. Playbox is probably one of my favorites. I try not to use it too much, but I find myself in there quite a bit. Mm, mm. Turn on my metronome here. Push that back. Okay. like it. I like that as well. Okay. So we just creating the top end, a groove, and then we add some drums or bass line later. Actually, what I'm gonna do here is add this onto the actual track. Make it kind of bake it in there a little bit. And we're gonna turn off the metronome. So I only want you to click it. Yeah. I want you to only click when I'm recording. And I ain't gonna lie, I do kind of miss creating like this in Studio One. The workflow is still here. As y'all can see, I'm just kind of flying through it. Maybe. So lock in the chords real quick. That's enough play box. You know, it gets to be too much sometimes. All right. So we're gonna go for massive. I'm gonna bring that down. What's up, Roderick? What's happening, brother? How you feel? I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing well. I appreciate you. All the way from Facebook. Appreciate you tuning in. Okay, that bass line is not gonna work. I mean, the bass sound. I need like something a little bit more synth wide sounding. So let me see what I can find. Uh, Let me see. Hmm. If I grab The bass synth thing is another one that I do dabble with. If I'll grab that one instead. It's gonna take like 50 years to load. This should be interesting. At the same time, we're gonna save this. Mr. Brian, what's up, bro? That might work. Okay. So not too too. Is that tape? Nope, that's not tape. Let's go for something else. I'm not too excited about that sound, so Huh. I like that a whole lot better. All right. So what we do? Bring in Machine for the very first one. Okay. I don't know if I want to. I know exactly what I'm doing. You said it's a tough one to come up with a bass line. Yeah. Okay, let's see. In this situation, I think what I'm gonna do is just go straight to the scene in Machine, and we'll just go clip. We'll just go clip. Um, wait a second. Machine is supposed to control Studio One. That's how I have it set, or how I had it set at one point. Hmm. Interesting. I'm gonna just check out something real quick, and if it don't look right, I'm gonna just keep going. Controller. Oh, you know what? I know what I did. Uh, I think I know what I did. I changed it last time. I think that's how you. I don't know, but I'm not in MIDI mode, so it shouldn't matter. Oh, it did. That made the difference. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I just put a clip there. I'm just. Gary Smith is in the building. What's up? What's up, sir? Oscar's in the building. Two Nickels is here. What's up, bro? All right, let me see. Let's see. So I'm gonna just put this right here. All right, see how that works out. That was probably a clip, right? I'm gonna shorten that and duplicate that or double it. Which there's all right. So that's it's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm just using clip to follow in a linear fashion. That way I don't have to worry about patterns right now. But it might be better to use patterns if I wanted to like make one thing at a time and then duplicate it or put in certain places. But I'm just using machine as so this is probably the easiest way to do it because now you make a machine as linear. And I mean these clips do it do allow you to like copy and paste and move stuff, which is cool. So I mean I'm working it out. We working it out. We working it out. Gary, you said you updating NPC. Okay. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. For my bass, um 808. I think I'm gonna use the sub lab joint for the 808. just lost power to my iPad. No. Okay. I'm looking for my. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nah, I don't really like that bass. The problem is finding the right bass. Nah. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, you is right. It's tough finding the bass line. Anyway. We're gonna get this one. Ooh. No, the second won't work for what I'm trying to do. Second snare hits. That's what's kind of throwing me off. I don't know where that came from. I like it until I don't no more. I like it until I don't. Placement holder for now. I don't really like the. We're gonna add 40s joints in here. I add drums from all over the place to make it work. I'm not stuck to Maschine, you know. Sometimes I use battery, which is a extension of the Maschine. Actually, I use battery a lot. The bass line may change according to whatever I come up with next. I don't know. Let's do it again. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I need to. I will take this out. And this one. It's already there. Let's see how's this fitting. I kind of have a concept which will require me to go to some other files. Actually, let's see, sample one. Sometimes we having stuff in here. Sometimes. Huh. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Hey, yo, two, but okay, okay. You know me. Let's use that. Let's use that one. We gotta tune these. There we go. little like that. And then the machine, you gotta do the. See, anytime you make a change, you gotta do those in machine. And when you working with clips, that make things a little bit complicated because because okay, that means I gotta shift these down a whole. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Gotta shift that one down. Just imagine if you had like 12 clips. Do I want it to come in yet? Yeah, I do. I did want that to come in right there. Let me see. If I duplicate that one and then extend it, is it still going to give me? Yeah. We can extend that to 65. Yeah. Let me see. Change the baseline. Let me see. Let's see. Spaces, what's cracking, bro? We working it out, bro. We working it out. Oh my gosh, really? Oh crap. This always happens to me. This is the part about Studio One that frustrates me when it comes to creativity. It just it lacks stuff. It lacks some stuff, man. Nope, I ain't gonna even mess with it. The objective here is to find something that can be cool like sometimes working with samples you already have to turn it into something cool. I came home. Hmm. This might ain't even fit. I'm just. Just, messing around. like that bass, huh? Alright, I ain't gonna do too much. I'm gonna do what I was going to do, which was let's go with kind of feeling. Oh. This one. bass line going to be um um hmm. Let's change the bass line. So A sharp? No. Let's change this to D. Might work. I don't remember putting that in there. Sounds cool. Need to rewind this thing to see what I did. Of course. Loading up sounds will certainly shut down Studio One. Indeed. Yes. Why not? Please reopen, because we're not done. Yes. 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 For sale. What's happening, man? How you feel? You canny telepathy, bruh. You changed your name. What's up, man? I gotta remember what your name was before. But I recognize the picture, so I know who you are. What's up, bro? What's up? What's up? Native Instruments, it's your turn to set the industry ablaze with the next Maschine MK4 Plus, etc. That would be nice. That would be nice. It seemed like everybody, well, not everybody, but the folks in my circle, the companies that are commonly talked about in this circle, which is, well, the NPC, the Akai doesn't count because it's like every 3 months they dropping a new NPC, right? That's Akai for you. Ever since they've been in this space where they creating like this virtual thing, the being connected to the computer. I'm telling y'all, man, like I remember when I was doing music in my earlier days, I was using the NPC to make music. That was the hardware that would not connect to your computer at no capacity. The USB port on the back of those machines were just for data transfer. It was either data transfer or updating the firmware. That was it. There was no connecting it to the computer for whatever reason. I used mine's. I connected USB to it to get MIDI from it, but I had to use a box. It wasn't straight to the computer. I had to use. Well, actually, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't. It was MIDI cable to a box that converted to USB. That's what it was. The name of that thing was the MIDI Sport. It was a 2x2 MIDI Sport, and it was A and B. You click because you could connect two different MIDI connections to it. That's the term. That's what MIDI come from. Like MIDI was, or still is, it's a 5-pin connection to your device, and it it can trigger like MIDI clock data pretty much, trigger notes. That's the whole concept behind MIDI. But the sole purpose, or the sole purpose I used it for, was to transfer the power for it to like send data via MIDI. And I guess the USB can do a lot of things. It can you can do audio through USB connections. You can do MIDI notes. You can do data transfer. Like USB has taken that. I don't know. But anyway, MIDI is originally a 5-pin. That's why when you guys see on some equipment, it has that 5-pin connection on the back of it that you never plugged into. You probably didn't even know what it was. Like, what is this? You know how you get devices and it's like you got a bunch of stuff on the back. You don't know what it is, but you can identify at least one or two. Like, oh yeah, there's the USB joint right there, in the place to plug in your power, and now we got power to my device, and that's all. And all those other connections is like, we don't need that right now. We don't even know. Yeah, MIDI was back there. It was a 5-pin connection, and that's how. Yeah, some of our devices still come with that MIDI connection. My complete control comes with that. It still comes. It comes on the MK3. Yeah, it doesn't come on this push 2, but it probably come on the push 3. I don't know. I have to look at it. Look at somebody video. Um, no, there's no video on them. But usually on interfaces, it comes on interfaces and keyboards. Those are where it usually comes on. Yeah, Octave. I mean, Octane is one of those things I pull out. Still got some really good sounds in there. I like it. When I'm in a rut, um, I'll pull that thing out in a second. Yeah, yeah, for sale. Absolutely, absolutely. So maybe is how I connected to Cakewalk before USB. Yeah, that was mainly for the folk who um who already had like keyboards and things like that. Like I have the Triton Studio, and instead of going to the store to spend money on a MIDI controller that's made for that purpose, I'm like, man, I'll just use this Triton Studio I got that I paid all this money for to do what he needs to do, and that's how I was able to do what I do. I I discovered this box that that allowed me to do that, and then that's how I was making beats in Logic at that time. I was using my Triton Studio as my MIDI keyboard. Just plug that thing up like I wasn't using it for its sound because the Logic sounds I felt like was an upgrade to me. It's like, man, these sounds here, and then you can manipulate them and change the sound and stuff like that in the Triton Studio. You weren't really doing that. The sounds that comes inside the keyboard, you weren't going in there and changing the tone of the sound, and you know that's you weren't really doing it. At least that's not what I was doing. I mean, they were like, I mean, you could change it, but it was like I think it was just easier to do it. Use Logic, and then plus MIDI to me was just a whole another way of working for me because I don't play the piano. It's like, oh man, I remember doing tracks inside of Triton because that was one way I made so many tracks in there. But when you mess up, it wasn't really easy to fix that stuff. You had to play it like almost perfect. I think that was a quantized function. Yeah, it was a quantized function in there. But my beats were if I can remember the stuff I was doing, my beats was it was so blah. You know, it will blah. I feel like people like me with with the ability to do what we can do now, I I probably sound like a piano player to some people, you know what I mean, because of what I'm able to do now versus what I was able to do back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? I'm like, man, I could edit, make myself sound like I know what I'm doing. I don't know who want to jump on this. We need to get some singers on here on the stream, man. See who can hop on these tracks. That's what will make these streams fun. I'm like, all right, bet. Let me send it to you right now. And then they do that thing, send it back, and I throw it in here. And then we can just listen to what just happened. Someday that'll happen. Yeah, 2 nickels. I mean, my thing with sounds, I mean, I have quite a bit of stuff. I don't really brag on the stuff that I have because it's kind of like not my thing. It's like, eh. It like I just always felt like it matters nothing to no one if you have a bunch of stuff and you don't know how to make it sound good. If you don't know how to go in and tweak what you got, because that's just a lot of money you spending when you buy everything flashy. You spending too much money. You know, like why? What for? You know. I when I look at things, and it's even like when I do reviews, because a lot of product has been sent to me. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna cap on here. I have a lot of instruments that were sent to me by companies to do reviews on, and I was able to keep them. And so, majority of my library is from that factor. But there are some things I did spend money on, you know. But from a review standpoint, a lot of times there is a bunch of stuff I turned down and never responded to. Um, that's information I don't really speak on as much, but it's like when companies send me things, it's like, oh, sometimes I feel like that. I feel like, okay, y'all just now reaching out to me, or maybe they didn't even know I exist. You know, send stuff to the big people, the bigger channels, so they can get the awareness out there. And then when that dies down, it's like, okay, we want to see how much more we can push, how much, so they'll find people like me. And I'm like, I'm excited y'all reached out to me, but it's like I feel like that wave has came and left. It's not hot anymore. It's like that's unless it's a good product. If it's a good product, then I'll speak on it. But I'm cautious of what I talk about on the channel. I try to be. Sometimes I get excited about things, and then you know, like I don't talk about octane. I don't know why I want to call it octave. I get, I use it, right? I don't really talk about it as much because it's like it's already has its hype days. Man, it was like YouTube commercial galore. Like every time, it was one of those. You're a music producer, you watch videos, the hype is always in front of you. They always throwing stuff in front of you. The Octane was one of those things. I bought it. I bought it based on what they were advertising, and I felt like it was a good buy. I was like, man, this thing got some nice sounds in here. And, I don't reach for it all the time, but I do. I reach for it from time to time. It's useful. I like it. Simple, straight to the point. In my opinion, it doesn't hog the CPU as much as some other, but that could be, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. I haven't let you down yet. I appreciate that, sir. I hope not to let you down, man. I gotta try really hard not to do that. Yeah, and drip. Yeah, I used to use drip like, yeah, I use it quite a bit. I think at that time it was like the sound I was going for. Drip was it was gold to me. But now when I reach for it, um, it's not as fulfilling as it was before. It's like, man, these sounds are not the this this plug is not working for me right now. Cause I guess I could, cause I got other plugins. Maybe, maybe that's maybe that's what happened. You get new stuff and you just like, I'm done with that. Time to retire that. Um, I don't know. Octane is one of those. It's one of those. Octane reminds me of it's this one plugin that I have. It's an instrument. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's uh air something. It's one of those instruments that came with Pro Tools. Because I actually thought it was a Pro Tools instrument. They made hybrid. Let me see. Yeah, I guess that is a name. Air. Oh gosh, I can't remember it. Oh my gosh. I cannot expand. That's what it is. Expand 2. I guess that's the latest version. So Octane remind me of one of those. Like Expand 2 was, it still is. It's one of those things that it's like you keep it in your toolkit in case you might need it. You probably would never grab for it. You would never reach for it, but it's there just in case. Because there's some pretty decent sounds in there too. There's everything in here. This thing don't even load anymore. I have to, geez, find a folder for this stuff. Yeah, but this was one of those first instruments that I played with when I discovered Pro Tools, and now I have it. It's just a normal plug-in. But yeah, it's like one of those. Like if you can't think of nothing else, you know, this one has everything. It's got strings, it's got bass, it's got organs, it's got pianos, it got flutes, horns. You know what I'm saying? It's got drums. It's got everything. It's one of those. It's just do everything. And you can stack sounds on top of each other too, which is cool. But I usually don't reach for it. I don't reach for it these days, but sometimes I do. But lately I haven't. Anyway, yeah, right. Yeah, it's always on sale. You know, it's like you can't beat the price. You can't beat it. It's like it's old. Like it's been here forever. Like, you know, I guess it's I guess it's worth it, you know. If you ain't got nothing else, it's like one of those stock things, stock comes stock. It's kind of like one of those type things. It's all the stock stuff, and I think that's what it was in Pro Tools. Like this was the stock sound. Yeah, exactly, Ron. You know, we definitely get so caught up in new sounds. I need to turn this into a podcast. So I feel like this is a good segment. It's a podcast segment. Yeah, but as producers, beat makers, we oftentimes get lost in the sauce somewhere. We we fall real deep into the latest and shiniest and glamorous, you know, toys and plugins that is thrown in front of us via YouTube most times. And they've gotten so good that it's now you know, it's on Instagram and it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube got the little shorts now where they, even Facebook, you scrolling through your feeds, you're talking about some plug-in, which is crazy, right? Because when we was watching cable TV once upon a time, they they weren't talking about the new plugins, on those commercials. Those commercials were geared towards whoever paid for that slot for it to show at that time, and it was mostly stuff that we weren't interested in. Doctor equipment, going to the dentist, um, a new spot to hang out to eat a burger, a greasy burger, stuff like that, or a funeral home service. Don't let your loved one die without giving them the proper box, the shiniest box. Carlos is at Joe Funeral Home Service. We got the best service for your loved one. It's like, what? Seriously? I'm watching Martin right now. Like, what? I ain't thinking about that. Yeah, man. But nowadays you don't see that stuff. You see stuff thrown in front of your face according to algorithm, meaning what you usually watch. They'll try you though. They'll try to throw one in there, a curveball to see if you bite. That algorithm is watching you. Yeah. But I'm falling. Oh my gosh, I'm falling and I can't get up. Really? I thought that was the most corniest commercial ever. Like seriously, but man, it's just certain commercials that just embedded in our brains, right? Like that was one. I don't know about any of you guys, but when I was a kid, there was this one commercial that got stuck in my head. It was this Empire commercial that used to come on 1-8. I still remember the number 1-888-2300 Empire. Oh, what was they selling? I don't even remember exactly what they were selling, but it just come on all the time, and it got embedded in my head, and that's just what I always remember. I think they were selling mattresses. That's what it was. It was like almost every other commercial, it was selling mattresses to people, man. And it's like, bro, I'm watching what was it? Uh, um, well, some of the older stuff I was watching, like back in those days, it was I can't remember the name of them, but anyway, yeah, man, we came a long ways. I guess they got smart, um, taking advantage of technology and social media. Like, you know what? Someone got smart and say, how about we market stuff that people into, and that's how we can gauge. We'll market the music stuff to the music people, try to get them to buy more stuff. And then here we go. We got like 50 million plugins that we don't need. You know, I I don't know if I could be the one who say that you don't need it. I think it's more so like you want it. Well, me for instance, I know where I am when I'm picking plugins and instruments. A lot of times I'm looking at these things pop up and I'm like, Here's another one. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning my nose up. Like, nah, I won't be suckered in because that sounds like something I already have. Like, what's the point? But a lot of times I think they do sell you on the fact that these sounds already come rich with that rich sound already in the preset and it's just ready for you. And I think that's the part that sells the product. Like here's like Omnisphere, for instance. Omnisphere would be, well, if you're looking for that, if you look for that those type of sounds that come out of that, and that will most likely be geared mostly towards people in film, like creating that big thick sound for movie telling. You're doing scores because that's I feel like that's what is really the strength of Omnisphere. I mean, you can do anything with it. Omnisphere will probably be like the expensive version of Air, if that makes sense. Omnisphere will be that. Air is cheaper stock sound. Then you got Omnisphere because Omnisphere you could do everything in there. Synth stuff or pop music, EDM, hip hop, whatever. You could do whatever you want in there. But this stuff is so rich that you can use it in like orchestral stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like that's its strong suit. Like the sounds are so rich. But there's so much stuff in there that you can get lost. You know what I mean? It's like if you got Omnisphere, you got everything. Like why is you searching for more? Like you got everything. If you got Omnisphere or Spectrosonic. I mean, Spectrosonic is who made them. I mean, what was I thinking of? I was thinking of the other Trillium. Ooh, I used to love Trillium. I may get it back. I may get it back. Um, I don't have access to those right now. Because um I used to be a part of a camp and we had access. Uh, me and the guy that was my partner had access to this stuff, and we went our separate ways. So I no longer have access to it. So um, I guess whenever I cough up the funds to buy it or Spectrosonics, I met the guy. As a matter of fact, at Nam. I don't remember who I am, but I met him. I met him at Nam. Really cool guy. The guy who's in charge of putting Spectrosonics together. Um, really cool guy. But yeah. Welcome, Ron, again to welcome. You are a member again. I appreciate. Oh yeah. Psh, psh. Recycle drum kits. Come on now, talk about it. It's I it's crazy, man. It's crazy. There are so man. This industry is so it is so saturated, man. So saturated with the same sounds. But something, I was watching a couple of YouTube, like, okay, not a couple of YouTube videos. It's just I follow a lot of music people, a lot of music influencers, the bigger channels that talk, have podcast channels, set up, things like that, where they just kind of talk about issues and things going on in the industry. And there's something that they're talking about now that I've been saying on this channel for a long time, and they are starting to pick up on that. Everybody is now looking for something new, something fresh. People are now looking for this stuff now. They're looking for creative. Like now they're yawning. I feel like trap music is coming to an end real fast. Real fast. Trap is probably it's man been some of the longest run, I would say. Like once trap got here, it's just been here. Now, there has been some, you know, different directions musically, like instrument wise, approaches and whatnot. But trap has always been a part of the popular sound in terms of drums. You know, people started doing different techniques on the hi hats, pitching them up and down, and the different resolutions here and there, stuff like that, filters and. But I just think now it's like people are starting to get tired of it. People are looking for something different, you know. And that's kind of where this channel was built upon. Like I've always been the advocate of doing something creative and different. I've always been the one who buck against the grain. Like this song right here. It's it's got familiar elements in there, but it's different. If you know what I mean. My approach to this is a little bit different. But yet I'm also trying to stay within the lane where an artist can hop on it, but it also encourages an artist to do something different. You know what I mean? So it's like 50-50, you know. I'm gonna take a sound that people are familiar with, but I'm gonna go in a different way. Like, okay, that's musical. That's nice. It's a nice sound. You know what I'm saying? And then I go here. That's typical. Like you heard that before. Bass line, legato into a beat. And that's the rapper right there. You know what I mean? He can go right there. Right there. The little switch ups. Yeah. It's incomplete, but it actually sounds complete. If I get the right person on it, this can go. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's different, but it's still got elements in here that is familiar. I would do that from time to time, like stuff like this, like trying to do something. And I'm gonna probably change some of the sounds out. It's gonna sound totally different than this. That's kind of what I was building up to. Like whenever I start off with something, that always end up sounding something totally different from where I started, because it's growing. You know what I'm saying? When I make beats, it's just like a child is born. You know what I mean? A child is born. It took on form. The child comes out looking like mom and dad, right? After a while, when the child, grows into itself, 1 years old, then people start making they claim, oh, she looked just like him. She looked just like her mommy, blah 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 blah. Or he looked like him dad or whatever. And then, the child when he turned 5, You know what I'm saying? Features start to get stronger. You know what I'm saying? Now the kid is 15. You know what I mean? Like things start to change. It's no longer a kid anymore. But you know, the different things that you get into changes you, changes your personality. It changes how you look. I'm gonna tell you, stuff you into changes how you look sometimes. Now you coming into, I mean, you still have features. You know, if you look like mom, you look like mom. You know what I mean? You are her child. But when you get older, you turn 21. You know, then you 30. You know, the things that you were thinking about when you were 15, you don't think about when you're 30. You know, it's different. That's kind of how I build these beats. Like it starts out as a baby, and then it takes time. It takes on flight, and that's why some of y'all, when I be doing these live streams, I'll be on these things like 3, 5, 6 hours. Some of y'all, I get it. Y'all gotta go and do things, and you come back and like, man, this beat sound different than what. Like, yeah, man, you went away with that one, how it sounded at that point. You come back an hour later, and I'm still streaming. Man, you did like, yeah, because I kept molding it to what I wanted. If I keep at this beat, in the next hour, it's gonna sound different from this. And the process is usually like I'm not afraid to make changes to anything once the beat catches on. You know, when I put the bass line in there, I may not even like what I did in terms of the drums. So I'll go in and do the drums over because I like the bass line. I'll do the drums over to fit the bass line. You know, sit around that. I might change up some chords, as y'all saw. When we first started out, the way that the chords, the direction of the chords we were going in, it was like, can yeah, we was going from a D sharp to an A sharp, or E flat to an A sharp. I think that's what it was. But in the chorus section, instead of going A sharp as my second note, I went D. I went down a step. It's still in the scale, I believe. So, or actually, that wasn't D sharp. That was E flat. Yeah, yeah. It was E flat. Then I went down to a D because there was more inspiration. I don't know. That's the flow. That's how it goes. So that's the thing. I don't know if that helped anybody, but like sometimes sometimes you got to make changes to something you really really love. Like you came up with this dope drum line, and it's like, man, I put a lot of work in getting these drums to sound like this. But if you gotta go and undo that jab just to make it fit the song, then you gotta do what you gotta do. I've done that plenty of times. In fact, I fall in love with some stuff to the point where I won't delete it. I'll just grab another instrument and I'll just mute it. And you could do one or two things. You can actually save those drums, like print it and just throw it in a folder somewhere and just use it next time. That's how I be doing things sometimes. You know, I don't want to throw away all of the hard work I did, but right now the direction is going different. And if you don't do that, that's the thing that mess y'all up sometimes. If you don't know when to go in and make the change up, or you found the dope drum loop somewhere and you just thought it fit the song perfectly in that moment, But I mean, the moment you change the song, the direction, you may have to mute it and delete it. Like, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what's best for the song, the overall sound of that. You can't be stuck on. And you may have spent 2 hours to come up with that 4 bar, but if the moment you come up with something, an instrument that you discover, and was like, man, this instrument sounds better than all five I just put in here. But and then sometimes that instrument is doing something where it takes you in a different direction. Like, you know what? I'm gonna mute all of the five instruments that I came up with. Spent 2 hours trying to like perfect, making my tweaks and changes, and use this one instrument in the next section. But the drums fits what I'm doing. Well, take the drums, move it over, do what you gotta do with that new instrument. You know, that's how you gotta do it sometimes. And then sometimes it may work like, okay, you spent a lot of time on that section. It might be cool. And then add this other instrument in for the next section. It might be cool just to do both. It's kind of like what I'm doing here. I got two different bass lines here, or two different bass sounds. They're doing two different things. And it might you might be able to make it work, you know. Right. Yeah, for sale. Yeah. In my analogy about kids growing up, yeah, sometimes it's like they start out precious, right? All kids start out precious. Years later, it's like, whoa, that's Jimmy? Whoa. Yeah, it happens. It happens, man. I remember when Jimmy was like that small. He was so innocent. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, like, kids come to this world with agendas. You know, that's the other thing. We gotta be careful about like how much energy we spend on those type of things. When kids are born into this world, don't get so caught up that you can't see what can possibly happen in the future. I mean, some of us, that is, anyway. Some of us can see what's going on down on the road. You know, everybody can't do that, but it's already written. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's already the destiny is already written. Like you already know. Well, not you per se, but that kid's life is already written. Things are already like lined up. Like the purpose of that kid, it's already in place. That kid is here for a reason. Like that's why they're here. There's a purpose and reason for everything. You know, sad to say, but some kids is going to be drug addicts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's already written in their life. You know, the decision that they're going to make. Maybe there's a couple of things that could happen depending on the decisions. Like if you go this route, this will happen. If you go that route, this will happen. If he turns out to be a drunk, well, we know what happened. He didn't take that other. He didn't decide on the other thing, the one that caused him to have patience, and you know, that seems to be a lot of people's struggle, waiting. waiting on things. It's mine. I'm guilty. I can't wait too long on something. You know, you change your mind after a while. It's like, oh man, when are they gonna make my food? You know, it happened to me today, man. Like I'm in to order the smoothie. I was sitting in that line. When I ordered the smoothie, I'm thinking between the way they making it, you know, like usual, I pull up to the window to pay. They saw me sitting there, but that's when they started making it. Like like really? So I gotta sit here and wait for y'all to make it. I don't know. Life is like that, right? That's just how it goes. Anyway, we're gonna save this, and I think that's it. I'm done. I'm falling asleep. Yeah, you say it's a setup. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. A roll of the dice. It depends. It depends on how you look at it. That's why me as an individual, the way I am as a person, everybody can't be me. I realize that too. But I just sit back and watch and observe how things play out while other people pull every string out of their hair, out of their head about how things are playing out. Um y'all remember that Dr. Scrooge, right? I guess I can't remember exactly what happened to him. Maybe he died or fell asleep in deep sleep, something like that. Either or, he was in this conscious phase where no, he fell asleep. That's what it was. Because when he came back, that's when he made a change. Because when he got in a glimpse, you know, of how much of an asshole he was to people, and you know what I'm saying. And I mean, the reason why he was that way in the first place is, you know, but it's like I'm like that person. Like I guess the one who took Dr. Scrooge on this path, showing him like, see, right there. You see how much of a dick you were to that chick right there? Now she going through this. When you could have did this. When you could have said something nice to brighten up her day. Blah blah blah. Or you could have said something encouraging to this kid and he would have felt better about himself. You know, something like that. I'm kind of like that person. I'm like, watching people just do the most. And it's like, what is the purpose? Why? Why are you doing that? But I just stay to myself. I don't want to get into any of that, telling people, giving people insight. I just stay. I stay far somewhere. I don't want to be bothered with that. but it is like people allow themselves to get all upset and worried and like go through they go through unnecessary things in life all because of selfish perception of something. Like, who taught you that? Why are you reacting to the situation like that? Why are you giving that much energy to something that don't really matter that much? Like, people who put themselves people who put themselves, that's the key word, people who put themselves in situations that is like why? Like, why would you? People are bored. People, if you had something to do, you probably would have never did that. I don't know. I told you I was different. We probably need to talk about some real situations, like a real topic, and I can tell you like my approach on some of these things. I just be watching people how things play out. I'm like, wow. A lot of times people react over things that they have no control over. Okay, here's a good one. Like, for instance, um for some odd reason, these type of videos is popping up on my TikToks, right? Watching repo guys repossess people's vehicle. Now, I've had my fair share of getting my vehicle repossessed. Um, Overnight, I was asleep, come outside thinking somebody stole my vehicle. This was years ago. This was when I was younger, like my second car that I bought, and that's how what happened to it. I'm like, what? No, it's actually my first car. Yeah, it was my first car. I got caught up in, what I mean, things happens, use your money for other things that you think is more important, blah 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 blah, whatever. But when the repo man comes to grab your car, you know how people likes to go outside and have this long or try to explain to the repo man, work out a deal like, come on man, don't take my car, I gotta get to work, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? People come up with all types of reasons, and but me, I'm like, well, and that's how most of the repossession guys think. Like, I wouldn't be here if you paid your bill. If you paid your bill on time, and it don't have to be on time, because I think they wait like 60, 90 days, something like that, before you get on that list. Like, when your bill is due. Why didn't you just call your finance, the loan people, to explain or like work out something, get something going, communication, you know work out something. Like, how do you think that a vehicle that you owe money on, they weren't going to take action? Like, really, seriously? That's just where I am with that thought frame. Like, that's how I think about a lot of things. Like, okay, but you had 2 months to get caught up. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, I personally get it. Like, I know. like bills, things that happen. I get it, man. Like I ain't. I'm the understanding one, but at the same time, you gotta communicate. Like, what's gonna come get your car? Cause you ain't pay nothing, man. Like that's that's how it goes. That's how it works. People be out there, man, ready to kill somebody with they weapons. Like, really, man. Yeah, I feel like that too. Come take my vehicle, really. But how else the finance company gonna get paid if they don't come out to you? Cause they mean business. They want their money. 9 times out of 10, they don't care about your situation. They want that money. But I think if you work out something with them like beforehand, and anyway, that's just how I think. Just let y'all know. That's just how I think. The way my mindset is about a lot of situations, I just be like in the background. Each time I listen to this beat, it's like I feel like it's done. Like, yeah, I feel like it's done, man. Like, I don't need to do anything to it. I think it's like it's already there. It's already there, and I'm gonna add this one thing to it. This uh, let's get this one on here right quick. Oh my gosh, I truly do hate how Studio One is. They there, you know. They there. It's just a couple things that just aggravate the crap out of me working the Studio One. It's like, oh my gosh, some of these things. It's just like, what? Come on now. All right, y'all cover y'all ears or turn your volume down. We finna. Screwing it all up. Boom, boom. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. Like it's wide open. It's ready for an artist to come in and do their thing. Like me, I would kept working on it. I may still change out some drums just to like polish it. Like there, I have like this other side that think is sound selection. That's where I am with that. I may just switch out a sound, just because I'm kind of hearing something else right now, but at the same time I'm like, oh well, it might work. It may work. So this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, let me test. Let me see what it sounds like if I was to switch this out, like the snare or the kick. I definitely want the kick to side chain with the bass. But that's just one of those, you know, it's one of those things. And because Studio One has a scratch pad, I could do that. I could just test it to see what it sounds like with this versus, you know what I'm saying? Just play around, A B type thing. See what it sounds like. Man, this beat is done. It's done. I just got to add on the other section. And when I do the next sections, then that might be where I get to change stuff up and do something, transitions and whatnot. But like, this is one of them things I feel like is vocal ready, meaning, I don't know, vocal creativity, because that I'll be checking out some beats sometimes, and I'll be listening. I'm like I told y'all, I tell y'all this all the time. I'm a student. I'm a student of the game, and sometimes I beat myself up in being so like perfect. I'm be listening to some of these beats on the radio. I'm like, dude, the beat is so simple. The beat is like super simple to the point where it's like, what? It's a pad sound, and a bass and some drums, and the drums ain't doing a whole lot, and the song is banging, it's killing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there, and I be over here beating myself up for like, what? Now when I do add a lot of sounds to stuff, it's a lot of times it be shaping and toning that one sound, like like that 808 right there. That 808 is two different 808s on there to make it sound like that. I don't know. It just sounded good. Yeah. Utility bill. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, that's crazy. Like when a beat is simple, that might be okay. You know, that might be okay. It might, like, I feel like this beat don't call for anything. In my head, I'm like, grab a guitar, see what it sounds like, and I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. That's too much work. I ain't about to do that. I ain't grabbing no good. Nah, bruh. Like, it's straight. It's good. You don't need no guitar. You don't need no guitar. That's how I be a lot of times, like about my stuff. Like people be like pesterizing me about stuff. Like, man, it would sound good if you put this. Nah, bruh. I'm good. I'm straight. That's actually with that concept. That's it's a good thing that like where we are now musically, because some artists will just do stuff. Like if I was to do something like this back in the day, no, you gotta put strings on it. You gotta put piano on here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do this. You gotta do that. Cause it's how music was made back in the day. But these days, man, it's like you know we're in a different lane. Especially when you want to like space outside of trap. You know, if you tired of that, yeah, you coming in the lane like this where you just doing something a little bit different. But all right, guys, that's enough. That's it. That's all I have. I appreciate y'all coming out. Likes up on the video if y'all enjoyed yourself. Y'all enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Likes up on the video. Subscribe. We when I get a chance, I'll do this again. Um, what else I want to tell y'all? Oh, Native Instruments is doing this 50% sale. So the summer, what you call it? I forgot. Summer something. But everything is 50% off. That's the important part. I have, dang, I don't have the link in, well, just click on the machine. Those links will take you to the site, and then you just browse around. Just click on those links. It's all kind of the same thing. But yeah, summer sale. Native Instruments is doing this 50% off everything. They're complete. If you want to upgrade, it's at 50%. This is a great time to like upgrade and get stuff from them that you've been waiting on. So the summer sale 50% off deal is right now with Native Instruments. All right. Yeah, Ron. Yeah, man. Like I think music can be so simple but yet so complicated. Like sound big because sound selection. Sound selection and like if it's the right if it's the right sound, then what happens to it in the mix process won't have to be too much. But you know, sometimes the mix engineers are creative as well, where they can do a little more to bring things forward, and that may be all it needs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like this is one of those spaces where it we could be we could talk on and on and on and on and on about this process and you know like you it's like it's hard to explain. Like you got to be tuned in, bro. You got to be tuned in. If you don't know what you're doing, like if you ain't tuned in, you know like when you're doing music, you have to have that same inner knowing like a mother with their kids. You just got to know. And you know it takes time, you know, because even mothers, all mothers weren't mothers at all times. You know what I'm saying? Your mom, Your mom wasn't mom all the time for her entire life. She was a kid once upon a time. You know, she was a young lady once upon a time. You know, she was independent. You know, learning the ropes of life until she got to that point, and it was like when the first one, she had the first kid, she had to figure it out. You know, stuff that got introduced to her, she didn't know what was going on. You know, stumbled, learned, depending on if you were the second, third, fourth, fifth, 16th. You know, by that time she probably was a little bit experienced. And even with the first kid, you know, like over time you become a little more experienced. You know, you ain't never had a kid before, but you know, years go by. It's like, okay, I got a hang of this. I know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is here. The music, just you gotta know, but it takes time. It takes time. 803, what up? All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. Y'all take care.